Hello and welcome to the session on examination reforms and emerging trends in educational evaluation. Examinations are a vital part of our educational system, and it is education and examination system that is exposed to criticism and reforms the most. As early as 1857, with establishment of universities in Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, examinations have been under criticism. In this unit, we will learn criticisms of examination, modern concepts of examinations, functions of examinations, examination reforms and remedial measures. Educationists have called examinations with names such as an enemy of true education, an obstacle to learning, a dead hand of education, a growing tyranny, a bloodsucker, etc. The reason for examinations getting such a bad reputation can be attributed to its limitations. Examination as a form of evaluation lacks objectivity, validity and reliability. One of the major criticisms an examination system faces is that it does not evaluate a student's overall development, both cognitive and non-cognitive development. Criticisms of examination. An examination is widely known as a necessary evil. One of the major criticisms is that it distorts knowledge, making students believe that what is examined is only important and mastery of a subject only means accumulation of facts. According to J. Krishnamurthy, comparison is not the right way to evaluate a student's progress. He opined that comparing one person with another in terms of grades and marks will not improve the education system. S. N. Mukherjee, chairman of examination session, observed in an All India educational conference that the conclusion is irresistible that education in India, dominated by external control and tutelage in the form of fragmentary and unscientific examination, has resulted in the perpetuation of mediocrity and retardation of genius, facts which are necessary concomitants if not inevitable consequences of the prevailing system. The University Education Commission 1948-49, presided by Dr. Radhakrishnan, also did not have very high opinion about the then prevalent examination system. He said, for nearly half a century, the examinations has been recognized as one of the worst feature of Indian education. Along with the University Education Commission 1948-49, the Secondary Education Commission 1952-53 and the Kothari Commission 1964-65 have criticized and suggested reforms for the Indian examination system. Why examination system underwent criticisms? The examination system had and still has a lot of drawbacks. A few of them are given below. Lack of specific objective. Our examination system is not geared up to meet a specific aim. For instance, the same examination is used as a criterion for passing test, getting admission for higher education and for getting employment. All these in fact demand various skills, and the examination are not tailor made to test the talents that are required for these different purposes. Elements of chance. The existing examination system relies heavily on the elements of chance. A student might face an examination learning a selected portion, and if such selected portions figure in the question paper, he or she will score the best marks in the exam. Lowering of educational standards. According to the Secondary Education Commission 1952-53, the examination determines the content of education as well as teaching methods. The success of a teacher is evaluated by the percentage of students who pass the examination, which will force a teacher to adapt to exam-centric teaching methods. Lowering of moral standards. Examinations force students to be dishonest. In order to succeed in an examination, students even smuggle textbooks to the examination hall. Ignoring quality of character. The present examinations fail to test a person's character such as honesty, loyalty, initiative, sociability, ability to think originally, etc. Elements of subjectivity. The mindset and the subjectivity of a person who evaluate the paper can to an extent determine the marks. Putting students through mental stress. Examinations put students through mental stress and anxiety. Promoting supremacy of textbooks. Examinations make students believe that what is said in the textbook is important and memorizing and reproducing them will win the examination. And this supremacy of textbook will lead to critical thinking losing its validity in education. Modern concepts of examinations. Before discussing the reforms suggested by various commissions, it is important to have an understanding about examinations. Only after getting a fair idea about modern concepts of examinations and the functions of examination, we can fully understand the reforms suggested by various experts and commissions. In this module, we will discuss modern concept of examination. Examinations have been in existence ever since the educational institutions came into existence. Even in Nalanda University, an admission test was conducted according to Huangsang, and only 2 out of 10 people got admission to the college. Well, now let us examine what are the modern concept of examination put forward by experts and scholars. Carter V. Good's definition. Carter V. Good 1959 in his Dictionary of Education defines examination as a test of knowledge acquired or more generally a mode of assessing intellectual capacity or ability. According to Good, there are 3 types of examinations. 1. A set of questions formulated to test a student's progress on the results of a course of instruction. 2. A way of qualifying candidates for a certificate or degree which are necessary for passing certain honors. 3. A competitive test which is designed to evaluate the scholarship of a student. An examination can be conducted by means of written answers. Examination according to International Dictionary of Education. The dictionary is published by Terry Page and J. B. Thomas in 1979, and according to it, an examination is 1. Assessment of ability, achievement or present performance in a subject. 2. Instrument of assessment can be long essay or a mixed form of assessment. 3. May be used for qualifying for entrance to professions and higher education. A Dictionary of Education. Published in 1981 by Derek Downstey, the dictionary explains education as a formal assessment of a student's learning used particularly at the end of a course. Although many teachers bemoan the distorting influence an examination can have on teaching and learning, when used wisely, they can assess students' qualities that can otherwise go unobserved. An examination usually involves one or more of the following features. All students are given same task to perform, perhaps with some degree of choice. Its precise nature will not be clear until the moment they begin upon it. They will be given a time limit or they will not be allowed to consult one another. They will perform in the presence of an invigilator, and they will be expected to experience some sense of urgency or stress. Nowadays, many examinations relax one or more of these restrictions. Example, students may be given advance notice of the questions or may be allowed to use certain reference materials, but the last mentioned feature usually remains. Now, we know that examinations as see them now are based the concepts put forward by such experts. Now, let us understand the functions of examinations. Functions of examinations. Examinations are supposed to fulfill certain objectives. The below listed are a few functions of examinations. To evaluate the achievement of a student. The major function of an examination is to check and examine the abilities and achievements of a student. Examinations are organized to test if a student could achieve certain abilities, knowledge and skills. To measure personality. Examinations are conducted to test the quickness of mind, calmness and determination. To measure the efficiency of teachers and the school. Examinations provide the teachers and the school an opportunity to evaluate whether their strategies and teaching methods are useful. To help diagnose. Examination allows teachers and parents to understand the progress and weakness of a student. Teachers can take corrective measures based on the analysis. Motivation for hard work. Examinations put a set of goals and targets in front of a student. The student will work hard to achieve these goals and targets put forward by examinations. To help in prognosis. The prognostic value of examination helps teachers to determine the aptitude of a student. To provide uniformity of standards. External examinations can solve the problem of uniformity of standards. Students coming from different institutions under one university will have the same standard of examination. To measure fitness for admission for higher courses. Examinations are designed to test the fitness of students for higher education. Such examinations are called entrance examinations or qualifying examinations. To help selection in a competition. To select candidates for appointment for public service examinations are used. To study every subject. Examinations are used as way to force students to study the basis of every subject. They can choose their specializations at a later stage. To link schools with the world. Examinations function as connecting link between the school and the world outside by making students competent enough to participate in the challenges required for attaining jobs. We have seen that most of the above mentioned functions or examinations in ability to attain such functions is heavily criticized by experts. Now, let us understand some of the reforms and suggestions brought in by certain commissions and other such bodies constituted by experts in the field. Examination reforms. As we have already seen, the University Education Commission 1948-49, the Secondary Education Commission 1952-53, the Kothari Commission 1964-65 and NEP 1986 have criticized and suggested reforms for the Indian examination system. In this session, we will discuss some of the suggestions made by certain such expert committees and the reforms took place in written, oral and practical examinations. Reforms suggested by commissions and committees. Suggestion for examination reform by the University Education Commission 1948-49. In the suggestions given by the commission headed by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, the stress was given to introduce the objective type questions. Following are suggestions made by the commission. Suggested the technique in formulating and constructing objective test for the class examination in colleges and universities. According to the commission, the government should not look for candidates with university degrees for administrative services. Recognition should be given for the work done during the course of instruction and 1/3 of the mark allotted to each subject should be reserved to this work. The standard of success at various examinations should be uniform in all universities. divided, rank and suggested 70% or more marks should be given the rank of first class, 55% to 69% for the rank of second class, and at least 40% for a rank of third class. The system of grace marks should be scrapped. Viva voce examination should be conducted only for professional and postgraduate degrees. The essay type questions should be used along with the objective type questions, but the type of questions, method of examination should be thoroughly changed in order to make it more valid and reliable. Observations made by Secondary Education Commission 1952-53. The Commission, headed by Dr. Lakshmanaswamy Mudaliar, to acknowledge that examination system existed in country had many faults. According to the Commission, examination dictates the curriculum instead of following it, prevents experimentation, hamper proper treatment of subjects and sound method of teaching, foster dull uniformity and encourages average pupils to concentrate too rigidly on narrow fields. The Commission made a few important observations and suggested a few reform for the examination scenario. Introduction of objective type questions. Directed to keep school records for evaluating all-round performance of the students. Symbolic marking instead of numeric marking. More external examinations must be conducted. In final evaluation, credit must be given to both internal test and school records. Only one public examination at the completion of secondary school courses. Introduction of a system of compartmental examination at the final public examination. Kothari Commission 1964. According to Kothari, a major goal of examination reform should be to improve the reliability and validity of examinations and to make evaluation a continuous process. The aim of the evaluation must be to help students improve their level of achievement. It should not be evaluating and certifying the quality of students' achievement at a given time. A few of the recommendations are as follows. The written examinations should be improved. Devise examination techniques to test other aspects of students that cannot be measured using written test. Evaluation at the lower primary level should help students improve their basic skills and cultivate good habits and attitudes. At a higher level, importance must be given to oral test as a part of internal assessment. In addition to the common test, special tests may be held at the end of primary course for awarding scholarship or certificates of merits. A few selected schools must be given the right to assess their own students. Internal assessment should be comprehensive enough to all other aspects of students' growth aspects that are not tested through written external examinations. During the transition period, higher students will have to appear for 2 successive external examinations. Examination Reform and National Policy of Education, NPE 1986. The NPE indeed consider examinations as an integral part of teaching and learning. To make the process evaluation more reliable and credible, the NPE indeed consider the following suggestion. Only at the end of class 10 and 12, public examination should be held. Valuation process should be decentralized. There should be a number of sub-centers to conduct valuation work. Malpractices connected with examinations should be treated as cognizable and unbillable offence. Teachers involved in invigilation and valuation must be given protection enough to ensure fair conduct of examinations and evaluation process. Importance must be given to institutional evaluation on internal assessment along with external assessment. The teachers who have expertise in a subject should evaluate the subjects on a particular subject. As a result of the suggestions, an assessment committee on basic education was formed in 1955-56 to review the examination system. In addition to the above mentioned bodies, there are many others who made significant contributions towards examination reforms. Here is a list of a few of the important government bodies. The Committee on Rural Higher Education 1954-57. Chairman B. Mukherjee stressed the need for assessment of practical and social activities of the students. Study Team on General Education 1955-57, headed by Dr. S. Bhagavatham, suggested that passing an examination in the prescribed format should be made a requisite condition before graduation. The Examination Committee 1957, appointed by the UGC to bring reforms in the university level, Chairman S. R. Dongarkari recommended methods of evaluation other than essay type questions such as multiple choice test, short answer test, viva voce, etc. Decisions of Government of Orissa 1997. In this context, the reforms made by Orissa government in 1997 is also important. The government of Orissa had expressed its concern over failing students in HSC examination conducted by the Board of Secondary Education. The poor performance of students from Orissa in national level examinations was also a worrying factor. To rectify the issues, the government had decided that in class 9, emphasis will be given to internal examination conducted by various organizations and schools. HSC examination, on the other hand, would be external and will be based on class 10 syllabus. The examination reforms were considered as part of national program and the Central Examination Unit CEU was set up. In order to take up the program forwarded, the Education Ministry invited the participation of international expertise. In 1957, Dr. Benjamin S. Bloom, the then Chief Examiner of University of Chicago, was invited to advise the examination reformation task. During his stay in India, he worked with more than 300 schools and helped the Government of India to draw an action plan for examination reforms. Let us summarize what we have discussed so far. In this unit, we have mapped the history of education and examination reforms in India. We have learned that drawbacks in the examination system has forced commissions and committees headed by visionaries such as Dr. Lakshmanaswamy Mudaliar, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Dr. D. S. Kothari, etc. have made useful recommendations and suggestions to make our nation's examination system more holistic. They all realized that current examination system fails to access certain traits of a student and imposes the supremacy of textbooks. The suggestions include points like making evaluation decentralized, adding objective type questions, giving importance to both external and internal examinations, etc. In this unit, we have also studied in detail the drawbacks of our examination system and learned that the system is not sufficient to meet specific goal and heavily relies on element of chance. We can also study some of the criticisms against the system raised by eminent scholars. For instance, according to J. Krishnamurthy, comparison is not the right way to evaluate students' progress. He opined that comparing one person with another in terms of grades and marks will not improve the education system. We have also understood the features and functions of an ideal examination. The features include evaluating the achievement of students, measuring the personality, bringing uniformity to the evaluation system, to study every subject and to link the school with the world outside. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. 1. What are the drawbacks of the examination system? 2. What is Carter v. Good's definition on examination? 3. What are the suggestions made by NEP? 4. What are the examination reforms suggested by committee headed by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan? Hope that you may go through the reference books listed here for further reading. Essentials of Examination System, Evaluation Test and Measurement by Agarwal Jesse, 1997, Vikas Publishing House Private Limited. Education in India, Problems and Perspectives by -M, 2000, Atlantic Publishers and Distributors. Problems of Higher Education in India, An Approach to Structural Analysis and Reorganization by Joshi KL, 1977, Popular Prakasham. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Have a nice day.